Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FiresprayXL, and I'm back again with another cringy ass video for YouTube. So today we're going to be trying to figure out whether or not you should buy the T-127. So jumping right into the deal itself, it is going for $9.99. You get the tank itself, a garage slot, of course, 1.5 million credits, and 3 days premium. So briefly, I'm going to just show you guys the stats themselves. Now, I don't know why they don't show this on the deal, as I've said this multiple times before. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you guys read off on the specs to try to save some time and just so that you can see it for yourself. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut up and let you guys do that. Now, starting off with the basics, it's a Tier 3 Premium Russian light tank. Now, I know I said that this is a light tank, but I don't think that this vehicle is going to honestly play like a light tank because of the specs that you guys just read. I personally think that this fits more in line with like a medium tank than it does a light tank. For its tier, it has a lot more armor than you would expect from a light tank. So yeah, it has 40 millimeters of upper hull armor and 30 on the sides of the hull, 30 on the rear, 40 on the front of the turret, 30 millimeters on the sides, and 25 millimeters on the rear of the turret. So I want to go ahead and just say that I find this vehicle looks a little bit strange, which would make sense because of the frontal armor. Since they are trying to have it sloped, it would only make sense to do that. So yeah, it has this 45 millimeter main armament with an average damage of 55 with a top speed of roughly around 38 kilometers an hour. Now I would compare this to other vehicles, but I can't really think of anything that can actually compare it to, but you can definitely tell that it's kind of like on its way up in the development line towards the T-150. So obviously I haven't played this vehicle. You guys are going to get to see my first impressions of this vehicle. So yeah, I think it's about time that we get into some gameplay, so let's get into that shit. So yeah, this is my first time using this vehicle, and I can already tell you that it is kind of slow. I mean, it's not the slowest that I've ever had, but I mean, it isn't exactly a light tank in my opinion. Probably going to play like a complete jackwagon, but you know. Turret traverse speed is, well, about average. Seems accurate so far. Then again, he is rather close. Oh, and you can see the armor at work and the lack of penetration at work. And that is something that this definitely suffers from. So if you're going to use this vehicle, make sure that you definitely bring a lot of premium ammunition. Oops. Should be in sniper mode. There is a clone of me. And as you saw, we were able to get a bounce from a autoloader. So I'm going to go ahead and head after this autoloader over here and hopefully make, well, never mind. I was going to make use of my armor, but I guess that I can't. As you notice that I definitely do tend to like to use third-person aiming primarily over standard sniper aiming, I guess. This match is not going too well. Well, you guys saw how this game ended. I'm sorry it wasn't any better. It was pretty terrible, but I think it's time to move on to the second gameplay. let's get into that right now. This is definitely not one of the fastest light tanks in the world, which is really confusing because when I honestly see like a light tank badging, that's really kind of what I'm expecting, but this really honestly plays a lot more like a medium tank, as you are seeing it right here, which is definitely probably because of the armor. Gun depression seems usable here. Thought it was actually going to be a lot worse than it actually is. No lie. Now, I'm not saying that it's awesome for sure, but it definitely is a lot better than I was expecting. Again, the reload time is definitely nice. But you see an example of penetration values. Bounce off the side of a T2, tear down. I was hoping to get the kill on that. I'm actually surprised I penetrated there and there. Ooh, I got a ricochet. Getting lots of bounces. I'm gonna be honest, I really just don't know how I feel about this thing yet. So far, the armor has been doing alright. You know, as long as you do your part, it seems to be doing its part. I'm also just testing out the gun elevation, which actually is really, really good. Definitely better than the depression, but it's a Russian tank, right? Ooh, that was a terrible shot. Trying to get around. And it's over for you, buddy. Surprisingly, I had a 5-kill game. So yeah, here are the post-game stats. I did okay for a tier 3 and for the second time using this vehicle, I guess. Nothing crazy good. So yeah, I got a first class, I got a top gun, got a high caliber, got a master gunner, and also got a sharpshooter. I was able to pull off 1,200 damage. I made a total credit profit of 18,000, and I was able to destroy 5. I am kind of surprised by that since it being tier 3. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know how I feel about this vehicle. It's just kind of an odd vehicle in my opinion, being that it's labeled as a light tank, but yet it really plays more like a medium tank. So something I really also don't like about this vehicle is, well, its penetration. I mean, you saw it in the video. I was bouncing on a tier 2 medium tank, which is kind of underwhelming to say the least. You guys saw the penetration values beforehand, and I will show them to you again. Is that the average for the standard AP round is 51 and for the ACPR is 84. For tier 3, I'm not saying that it's crazy bad as far as penetration. Now, something I want to go ahead and just point out is that I think that when this is top tier, that it can really be a force to be reckoned with. But when you're facing tier 4 opponents, I think it's going to be really underwhelming. It does have less penetration than this vehicle, which is kind of interesting, being that this is a tier 2 vehicle. You can see the numbers here, like the ACPR. On this vehicle, it just shows you that it definitely does have a problem with penetration, which is something that if you are considering this vehicle to really take note of, so you will definitely need to be packing a lot of premium rounds. For its tier, it does alright in making credits, but it's not crazy good. The gun depression on this vehicle is, it's actually usable, but it's a Russian tank, so you can't go and say it's like awesome. Some of my biggest problems with the vehicle though is that since it being a light tank, or at least being designated as a light tank, is that it moves a little bit too slow for what it is. But yeah, I get it, it's because of the armor, but still though, for a light tank, it really just plays kind of funky or just silly. So again, it's kind of like the T-54 Mod 1 in my opinion, is that the main attraction here really honestly is the armor. It definitely has a good reload time, which is something that I'm definitely happy with. So now it's time for the big question of the day, and that is, should you buy this vehicle? So I want to go ahead and just say it like this, is that it depends on what kind of player you are. And that is, are you a player that really likes having good armor and fast reload time? Then if that's the case, then you might like this vehicle. But if you like a fast tier 3 light tank, then I don't think that this is a vehicle for you, just because that it only does 38 kilometers an hour. This is definitely not a good vehicle for like trying to flank your opponents. As again you saw in the video, it was definitely having trouble staying behind a tank destroyer, which is kind of sad again for a light tank. This completely is all voided if you are a tank collector. I do find, regardless of how I may feel about it, that it is definitely a collector's piece. But I don't think for the average player that this is like something crazy awesome. Like, I think that there are other things that you can do better in than this vehicle. And one good example is definitely this. Is it worth $10? In my opinion, I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely a vehicle that I wanted to have in my collection just because it is definitely a unique vehicle, and also remember, it is always up to you. So if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you do not like this video, well, I don't fucking blame you, because it's a tier 3 and there really isn't that much to show for it. And if you haven't already, please make sure you drop me a subscribe, as it would definitely be greatly appreciated. And I really do hope you guys have a wonderful day.